Welcome everyone. Everybody prepared to press the dislike button because this is a bow build. What's not to dislike? But before I even start talking about it, I want to do basically a comparison, because this build actually was for the longest time my stamina sorcerer with dual wield / bow. I was pretty happy with it and everything's pretty cool with the hurricane and stuff. And then I said, okay, now with the Summerset changes, bows count as 2 set pieces, so you can run 2 5-piece sets and the monster set. And there's this new skill from the Psijic Order, which gives bow users a cool spammable. I mean, snipe is also deals actually more damage, but it's not that cool to use, especially in like action-packed dungeons. Whatever. Anyway, I just want to right now. I want to make a pass. 2 passes and compare them, see how much worse is bow compared to dual wield. And my damage is, depending on who you ask, some people would say, oh my god, how can you do 20k, it's so amazing. Other people would say like absolute trash tier, and I probably have to agree with them. The point I'm making here is my damage sucks with both setups. So we just want to compare the difference between the 2 setups at any given level of gameplay. Okay, so I'm starting with the bow setup. It's a purple bow. I mean, I have the golden one, but I want to do it with the purple because I only have the purple weapons as well, the daggers. Okay, let's start. I will fuck up my rotation. Speaking from experience here, I always fuck it up somehow at some point, but the same will happen with the dual wield thing, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. I have no idea what's going on. Okay, so 22,500 seems about right with purple weapon and everything. Yeah, I mean, better than my last pass there. So now we are going to switch to the dual wield / PvE setup, which has a harder rotation because it uses 2 more skills, and it actually also uses 200 gold per second, per minute. It eats 200 gold per second, or whatever these stupid potions cost, because it doesn't have crit. It doesn't have the 10% crit because it's a pro build. Okay, it's dual wield bow. Look, I only took the premium skills, rearming trap and all that kind of shit, which I didn't even have on the other one. Little note here, these weapons have crit instead of penetration, which is probably a bad thing, but it shouldn't make that much of a difference anyway. Okay, guess we just start. Oh, going right in with the ultimate. I forgot to see. That's already the problem. I already forgot to use the potion, and then you just deal less damage. What the fuck's going on with my damage right now? Holy shit! Okay, nice. Oh. All right. So 26, exactly 26,000. So yeah, the damage is actually quite a bit higher, from 22.5 to 26. That's almost 20% increase, isn't it? Like, okay, let's see. What is the damage of rearming trap? It's like 1,000. Okay. Okay, so it does actually matter. And Hurricane, 1,500, okay. So yeah, these skills definitely helped. If I would have used the exact same setup that I was using on the bow, where I only use 3 skills per bar, but not those expensive as fuck potions, Damage would have been still higher than with the bow, but only maybe 1 or 2k. So what I want to say with this is, oh yes, dual wield is stronger in theory now, but the thing in practice is 10-15% less damage. In my opinion, could turn out to be actually higher damage if you don't have 100% control, if you sometimes fuck up your rotations, if you don't always dodge everything, which is especially hard in melee. You might actually end up doing more damage with the bow. Okay, should we talk about the build now? If you like bows and want to be an actual bow damage dealer, I guess we can. I will just talk about the PvE setup right here. And I have done a written guide with the leveling build, PvE build, Maelstrom build and PvP build on my website. You can check that out in the description. But this video is getting too long otherwise, so on the front bar, so we are using 2 bows. We have Crushing Weapon from the Psijic Order. Deals X amount of damage on your light attacks. Also has some lifesteal, and most importantly, it doesn't slow you down and doesn't really have a cast time. Race Against Time, the next skill as well, so instead of Beast Trap I just used this, which also increases crit damage. The movement speed is actually quite nice. That's probably the main reason why I still use it, because otherwise I could really just use the trap. Yeah, the move speed is nice, and sprint is actually basically free. It only says 50%, but you already get sprint cost reduction of 20% or so from medium armor, and then some more from champion points, and basically is reduced by 90%, which is effectively free sprinting. And since this costs magicka, you can basically sprint for free infinitely. Okay, anyway, if you don't have the Psijic guild at all, or don't want to level it up yet, or whatever, don't worry, you can just use trap. You will probably even deal more damage than with this skill. And instead of Crushing Weapon, you can just use the bow focused aim thing, which actually also deals more damage. It has, first of all, it reduces physical resistance, which will increase the damage of all of your abilities. It deals more damage than this thing in general, so it deals even more by buffing itself. Then this 13,000 right here gets buffed by long shots, so up to 12% more at longer range. But only with bow abilities, and the same with Hawkeye, up to 25% more damage with bow abilities. And so this thing can get up to 37% more damage, while this cannot. So yeah, don't worry, can definitely use this. But I would say for Maelstrom, if you really want to try Maelstrom, if you're struggling, try using Crushing Weapons. That the flexibility definitely helps a lot, and also the lifesteal. Okay, then next we go with Critical Surge, because of the Major Brutality. That's actually the reason why I run Sorcerer. It's just a very nice long Major Brutality buff. I don't want to use potions. I don't want any of that bullshit. And it's one of the longest Major Brutality buffs, and it also gives you like crazy self-heal for solo PvE, everything that is not Maelstrom. This is basically all you need to survive everything, like even bosses and whatnot. Bound Armaments. Yeah, last skill in the Daedric Summoning line gives you 8% stamina, 11% light attack damage, which is really cool because we are only dealing light attacks right here. So this really buffs our damage, and actually the main reason why we use it is Daedric Protection. Increases your stamina recovery by 20% while you have a Daedric Summoning ability slotted, and this is the only one we use while leveling, or in Maelstrom Arena. In some cases you use the Atronek, which is also an excellent ultimate, by the way. But yeah, if you don't use it, you kind of have to put that thing on to get this 20% increased stamina recovery. Alrighty, yeah, Evil Hunter, basically just, you don't even need to morph the skill. It's called Expert Hunter, I think, by default, and we just use this for the 10% crit chance increase, just slot and forget, and it also gives you 3% weapon damage. There's really not much to complain about this. On the front bar, where we deal most of our damage, we use the Flawless Dawnbreaker. Gives on the maximum level, it gives you 5% weapon damage by being slotted, another 3% from the Slayer passive, so 8% just for having the slotted. For actual damage, we use the Ballista from Bow, which deals huge amount of damage. It cannot be interrupted. You cannot fail this, because you place down the turret, it starts dealing damage, and it cannot be interrupted even if you are, or you can run away while the turret deals damage, or of course you can deal damage at the same time as the turret. And you have to keep in mind, this can also be, the damage right here can be increased by up to 37% because of these two passives, right? Okay, then of course, who wouldn't use it? I guess even Magicka users would like to, of course they can't, but they shouldn't, but everyone loves the skill. Just deals insane amount of damage every 0.5 seconds, so that's kind of important. Anyway, it just deals a lot of damage. Razor Caltrops from Alliance War, I'm sorry, but yeah, you kind of need that skill. It will be a pain in the ass. You also need Resolving Vigor for Maelstrom. But yeah, you really need Caltrops. There's nothing you can really replace this with. You can use like Acid Spray or some other weird thing to increase your damage a little bit, but nothing comes really close. That's for PvE at least. I mean, in PvP you don't really use these two here. Poison Injection, again from the Bow, again up to 37% more, whatever. Yeah, deals a lot of damage over time, especially if the targets are low health. You don't spam this, you just use it once and then reapply it once it runs out. And then the same thing again, Bound Armaments, Evil Hunter. That's it. Want to talk a little bit about the passives. The Sorcerer passives are actually really nice for physical builds. We can see this here. Reduces the stamina costs of your abilities by 5%. Really good. The other things are not that important. Power Stone reduces the cost of your ultimate abilities by 15%. Crazy thing again. Then we already talked about this. 20% increased stamina recovery. In the Storm Calling we have Magicka recovery. Actually helps quite a bit. Then here increases your physical and shock damage by 5%. Implosion. This one is kind of interesting also. When you deal shock damage or physical damage, you have a 6% chance to deal like tons of damage for free. And now, because this thing deals physical damage every 0.5 seconds, and then you have the other dot, like the other. This is all. Oh, this is actually not physical, so that's bad. But these two, they proc this a lot, and that's actually the only damage over times you have physical. But then you also have this monster set, which deals damage 4 times, 3 times shock, 1 time physical, so this can also proc Implosion. Expert Mage is also nice, increases your weapon and spell damage by 2% for each sorcerer ability slotted. So even Surge, like people would say, oh, you can get the major brutality from potions. Yeah, okay, whatever, but the skill is just so good, and it also gives me 2% weapon damage, so what the fuck, dude. Same with Bound Armaments. Like, Bound Armaments just gives 8% maximum stamina, 11% light attack damage, 20% stamina regeneration, and 2% weapon damage. Like, what the hell, dude? It's good enough to not spend 200 golds per minute to fight a normal, just fucking thing. That's the build right there. Maybe I want to talk about the items I'm using. Like, these are definitely not the best sets ever. You can just craft Hunding's Rage. Maybe it's better, maybe not. The advantage in crafting, of course, is that you can directly craft them as divines, which I have not. Like, one of them is even blue. So, but yeah, I really loved the set. I farmed it because this one you actually have to farm in a dungeon. Adds 300 whatever damage to your physical damage abilities. This doesn't get buffed by your physical damage buffs and all the, or it doesn't get buffed by your weapon damage buffs. But still, this is an absurd number to put on anything. Like my ballista, the ballista damage goes down from, let's see, From 61,000 to 53,000. Even buffed. And as we just said, this damage bonus doesn't get buffed, apparently. Like, I've heard it. But yeah, the damage goes down by 10,000. 9,000. So, good set. And the other one, I would recommend Spriggans. You have no, especially for solo, but with the changes to dungeons, because Night Mother's Gaze doesn't work anymore as it used to be, there's not that much armor reduction in dungeons anymore, so it's really important to get a lot of penetration, and Spriggans is really just the premium. Like, I voiced my opinion before that I thought Unfathomable Darkness is better than Spriggans, but there's, yeah, it's not. The penetration is just so good. And the other thing is, Unfathomable Darkness doesn't crit anymore, so that's also a thing. So yeah, that's the basic setup. Now, if you're worried, I don't have a Maelstrom Bow, I will deal even less than 20k. Like, don't worry, the Maelstrom Bow only boosts Endless Hail, and it deals about 2,000 more than without. So your damage, if you get the Maelstrom Bow, will raise by 2k, not more. Or let's say it will raise by 10%, maybe. That's maybe a little bit more accurate. It's not like you get the Maelstrom Bow and then you will instantly deal 10 times more damage. Don't worry. Okay, guys, that's it. Make sure to check out the written build if you want to know more about this, more details. And hope you learned something. See you next time.